my extended essay is looking at how like the evolution of the world wrestling entertainment has accommodated for external changes and where the consumer and general person's mindset is today and how it's changed over the past few years. So I've conducted a focus group recently with people of my age, like my peers, and I've gotten some good information from them. And now like I'm gonna go and interview. It's a discussion, a focus group. So like I'm gonna try and get into the mind of like the adult audience, like international adult audience, through you guys. So founded in 1952 as Capital Wrestling Corporation Limited, known today as World Wrestling Entertainment, the company will slowly begin to expand and begin catering towards a more global audience as the company would rebrand itself from Capital Wrestling Corporation to WWF World Wrestling Federation and now as WWE World Wrestling Entertainment. So, as you can see, this is a World Wildlife Fund. I think Fund, Miss Bridget will be really familiar with this. And they actually filed a lawsuit against WWE to change their name. And this is like an internet meme which came out. So, yeah. So from the company's humble beginnings through to the global sensation it has become today, WWE have been evolving in terms of operations, marketing, in-ring competition, and format of television presentation. Changes being made to the product is very noticeable to spot due to the nature of the company. As it's essentially entertainment showcasing, entertainment showcases, and examples of changes being made to the company include the acceptance of diverse body types, the emphasis of marketing on social media, and moving of customers to an online subscription-based network, and extensive application of community works or corporate social responsibility. So the goal, again, is to understand how elements of the strategic evolution of the World Wrestling Entertainment has been psychologically perceived over its previous elements, which dubs it as successful. So we will be looking at WWE in the latter half of the 1990s when the company was still known as the WWF, and the current WWE, which began from around 2008, the present era. So I have chosen to outline these two eras of the company as they have come right after each other and the changes are very significant. So now we're going to take a look at two videos which basically outlines really well how the two products in the two different times look like. So we're going to first take a look at the old product.
Welcome to Five Things. I'm Tom Phillips and today we're talking about the Attitude Era. The Attitude Era is one of the time periods that, well, if you didn't experience it the first time around, you're in for an exciting ride. So let's check out number one. It's the Austin McMahon rivalry. One way or another, these two were intertwined throughout the entire Attitude Era. The only championship that was literally defended 24/7 was the Hardcore title. Coming in at number two, you will see the strangest places a championship match ever took place. Number three, this is why WWE Network is uncensored. You get to see Bret Hart taking on Stone Cold Steve Austin at WrestleMania 13, just as it originally aired. Many consider this the greatest match in WrestleMania history. The Divas come in at number four. Trish Stratus, Sunny, Sable, and our newest Hall of Fame inductee, Lita, redefined what it meant to be a WWE Diva. If you rewatch every pay-per-view from the Attitude Era in order, you can literally see how WWE evolved. From superstars, sets, and pyro, you will discover the little things that made the Attitude Era what it was. Now we've hit our 5 things. Let us know what you are most excited to see from the Attitude Era by tweeting us at WWE Network. I'm Tom Phillips, and I'll see you next time for another 5 Things.
Yep. So as you can see, to like sum it up, it was very violent, very aggressive in nature, and it was also like very they use this very sexual element to their female athletes or wrestlers. And yeah, at this time they were targeting a more of a pre-teen and adult demographic, and as of late they have changed. Like right now, if you see the product, it's much more different from what it was back then. Like almost the entire television format and their types of wrestlers and what they showcase has become different. And now they're targeting the entire family, and they've also gone like TVPG, so parental guidance, to like accommodate for the changing of their audience. So their audience has grown, and like their revenues are still skyrocketing and growing compared to what it was. So now I'll show you a video which will show how it is today.
Hey everyone, welcome to 5 Things.
Legends, I'm Kyle Edwards. Today we're looking at 5 teams who beat The Shield. The trio of Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins, and Dean Ambrose only lost 8 times in 6-man tag team action. Here are the groups who managed to take down the Hounds of Justice. The Shield's first loss by pinfall or submission came in June 2013 against Team Hell No and Randy Orton.
They did it! They did it! The Shield has been beaten!
The defeat must have rattled the trio because their second one came 2 weeks later against the oddball trio of the Usos and Christian. It was Christian's veteran awareness that brought the win.
I gotta call it an upset, Michael. Only the second time ever the Shield have lost a 6-man tag team matchup.
Reigns, Rollins, and Ambrose were approaching the end of their first year on the WWE roster when they ran into 3 tough veterans, Mark Henry, Big Show, and Rob Van Dam. The combination of Big Show's size, Henry's strength, and RVD's athleticism made for the perfect formula to break the Shield. The Rhodes brothers had a bitter rivalry with the Authority in late 2013, so it was only natural for them to side with the ultimate thorn in the Authority's side, Daniel Bryan. So Triple H and Stephanie McMahon tasked their unbeatable Shield to take out both. It was a good idea in theory, but not so much in execution. The Usos beat the Shield in 6-man tag team action on 3 separate occasions with 3 separate partners. Christian was the first superstar. At Tribute to the Troops in 2013, the Usos joined forces with Rey Mysterio for win number 2. And later that week sided with CM Punk to become the first team to defeat the Shield 3 times. The Usos were the first team and the Wyatts were the second. The Shield had quite the rivalry with Bray and company, but it was a little more one-sided than you'd think. The Wyatts have a 3-1 record against the Hounds of Justice via pinfall, starting at Elimination Chamber in 2014. Well, that's our show for today. Thanks for watching. Next week we'll reveal Batista's...
So as you can see, the product has changed tremendously. And even if you look at the logos which represented the company, so this is what it was beforehand, during the Attitude Era. As you can see, like it's aggressive, it's violent in nature, it's edgy. And now, this is what it is currently. So it's very much more corporate, and you can see, like, you know, it's much more watered down. And I think it really, like, you know, displays and like it gives a message as to what the product is today. So we're gonna begin like our discussion. So, so anyone can participate at any time. So if you have like another comment to bounce off each other, that would be really helpful as well. So we're gonna start off by setting the context here. So I have a question for Mr. Harkin, Mr. Hay, and also maybe Mr. Ross as well. So, and this is just to set the tone of our discussion. So which World Wrestling entertainment product or shows do you watch, and what aspects of the product has intrigued you to continue watching? So Mr. Harkin, you want to begin?
Yeah. The ones that I watch are probably nowadays just the pay-per-views. But have like a special monthly events. And I think it's just because I don't have the time to watch like their daily or weekly programming that they do now, like I did when I was younger. But the way that they put them on, they still like sum up, you know, everything that's happened, the culmination, stories, whatever. So I tend to just watch the pay-per-views. Once in a while, I'll watch like a special big episode or whatever, and know what's happening. But generally, yeah.
Okay, Mr. Hay.
I try to watch Raw and SmackDown.
Which are the flagship shows?
But I find finding the time to do that is difficult. So I find that I'm sometimes 3-4 weeks behind, and then I'll end up watching them on a plane or something like that to catch up. And then I'll watch the monthly pay-per-views. I should try and watch them as soon as they're done. But I am struggling with time. There's just too much.
Okay.
Too much now.
From what I understand, Ms. Ross's experience with the product was like when it was like from the past, and so a time period where we're also like exploring today. So Ms. Ross, you want to sum up your experience?
Yeah, it was just like another fellow colleague used to watch it all the time. and then the kids did. And I thought, this is hilarious. And then I got into watching it, and there wasn't, I'm sure, I saw it, if it was on Saturday evenings, I watched that. It was on Sunday, watched that. SmackDown, Raw, went to WrestleMania, I think it would have been 3 or 5, Hulk Hogan, Ultimate Warrior. They had a phenomenal card. And then just like most of us in here who watched it, it was time. Time, and then things changed. And certain wrestlers came in and certain wrestlers came out. And I used to have more people say, somebody of your intelligence is watching this stuff. And I said, it's the best entertainment going. Don't go to Stratford. Don't go to see Shakespeare. The acting right here, I said, is superior. We can take the kids to Hamilton. You don't have to go to Stratford. But I think people liked it because it represented the essential battle between good and evil.
Yep.
And I think at different points in time in society, people were looking for a hero.
So, like, I can really relate to Miss Ross because people also like come up to me and tell me like, why do you watch it? It's basically fake, it's staged and all that. And my response to them is that I ask them what their favorite movie is, and then they tell me, and I'm like, so yeah, what did you enjoy about that? And they like go on, and then at the end I'd stop them and I'd be like, so you do know that was staged as well, right? So it's technically fake as well. So yeah, it's basically the storylines which I really like. So the underdog coming and finally winning that big title or what? Yeah, so that's what I really enjoy about it. And so, based on a focus group previously with my friends, they chose to describe the following words to the old product as vulgar, hardcore, blood, intensity, sexual, and violent. And they chose the following words to describe today's product: childish, lawful, and business-oriented. So, in your papers, can you please choose 2 or 3 words you would choose to describe the old product and today's product? So any 2 words you'd like to describe the old product and today's product based on what your experience, like if you watch it now. Okay, so yep. So Mr.
But
Ian,
for that
yep.
particular,
Mr. Ian, do you want to share with us what 2 words you chose to describe the old product?
I just have one down so far.
It's fine, one words as well.
It's more rugged in that now, from what I understand, that it's a lot more just like corporate and products and just doing a phenomenal job as a business, just having stuff all over the place in terms of advertising and products, and just the range of products that they have.
So could you please elaborate the word corporate? Like why would you use that to describe today's product?
Just more than just a single entity of this is wrestling and TV, but now this is just a massive thing.
Mm-hmm.
So just a massive business with a lot of branches all over.
Yep. Mr. Hay?
For the old product, it was edgy and over the top.
Mm-hmm.
Some of it was ridiculous back in those days. I think quite a lot of people view it with rose-tinted glasses. Some of the stuff they used to do was just terrible. And then now I've written 2 words, but family friendly. And I wrote the word future because it's kind of like they're targeting a younger audience so that they'll be fans for life. Kind of like when I started watching like 1992 and I kept going pretty much. So I think that's what they're trying to do now.
Yep. Miss Bridget?
Well, I put the WWF was more drama, more skin. WWE low-key, more organized.
Why do you think they're more low-key now?
It doesn't seem like there's as much random stuff, but even though I know the other one was, some of the stuff was planned out.
Mm-hmm.
And I think some of that plays back to how they're trying to program it more towards their audience.
Miss Ross?
Well, for the old, I thought it was entertaining. I used to wait until there'd be like a brawl and guys would come out of like nowhere and just go into the ring.
Like
It'd be like a
something-
Royal Rumble without the Royal Rumble there. But I still go back to the whole good guy, bad guy and lessons of morality taught where, the good guy always wins. Male gender. very male dominated at that point in time. And for new, I think I'm not that inclined, but I think it's more sexist, where women are now allowed in the ring, and that's fine, as they should be, but they have to be there for the right reason. It's just what the others said, business, it's like a corporation, and it's like massive.
Ms. Karen? Okay, Mr. Harkin?
For the old, see, I actually have it's because I think I'm watching
I'm gonna give you a choke slam if you're not good.
For the old, I put sexist, at least in that era, I thought it was a lot more sexist because, yeah, for what they were showing, like, they were more scantily clad and things like that.
Yeah.
The era that was
Yeah.
How'd you get the guys watching it?
I know, right? Extreme, like that was a word that they threw around all the time back then. And inwardly political, and I'll explain what that means by that when I talk about the new. The new, I find, is actually more open-minded in terms of how they are accepting more body types and things like that.
Right,
and also the women in themselves, as of late, like they're getting allowed to perform just as much as the men. But it hasn't really been the case in a while. One of a kind, we consider like the last thing that remains from like when we were kids or even before, like, really. And then outwardly political. And I think that's part of their image that they've changed. I don't know if I'm allowed to talk about this or not, but it's my own take. A few big things happened every few years in the WWF, WWE, going back to, there's a steroid scandal that took place in the early 90s, and as part of that, the owner of the company had to go to court, and he was also trying to get rid of paying for sporting licenses in different states around the United States. So by doing that, he said it's actually not a sport, it's entertainment. And that's when everybody's like, no, wrestling is fake. And like kids were all shattered and things like that. So that was one change that happened in the company.
Yep.
Another change was the amount of deaths that were taking place with wrestlers at very bad times, ones that were actually committing murder and then killing themselves. And so to break away from that, they had to really change around what they were doing in terms of the wrestlers and safety and all that.
Was that related to steroids?
Chris Benoit. So Chris Benoit killed his wife and his kid because of brain damage.
Yeah.
They linked it back to that.
Due to concussions and all, right?
Concussions, yeah. And then the third thing was, in terms of politically, the wife of the owner of the company ran for senator.
Oh, right.
And so when she ran for senator, they completely changed the product to get rid of that image of wrestling and how she's tied to it. And so that's when it became more family friendly and open for everybody.
Yep.
As in terms of historical factors, I think those were also very much a part of it.
So what Mr. Harkin just said upon like the steroid allegations and the change of body types, like more athletically lean superstars being accepted now to carry the company, I'd like to touch on that later on. So if you could keep that in your mind, that'd be really helpful. So this question is for Mr. Harkin, Mr. Hay. So you do follow the WWE on social media and internet, right? So what aspects of WWE on social media and internet do you enjoy? So Mr. Hay, I'll start with you.
Because I'm so far behind, sometimes I've actually stopped following them as much because it spoils what's been going on. I like to be surprised, so I don't tend to look and see what's been happening. I like to watch it. I think I only follow Chris Jericho on Facebook just because it's funny at the moment. He's started, he just posts links to loads of clickbait articles because it kind of is like an extension of his current persona. I just find it quite funny. So he's the only one that I follow at the moment.
So just to put this into context, like the WWE has right now 500 million social media followers. So for any major sporting corporation, this is the most. Like it beats them, leaves them in the water. So across all major social media platforms. So Mr. Harkin, do you want to talk about your experience?
YouTube. Some of the wrestlers have their own separate things that they do outside of the ring that I'm geeky about, I guess. Where they get the other ones into hijinks and shenanigans or whatever. It's almost like punked in a way sometimes, but just the wrestlers, so it's fun. And then also on Twitter, Kevin Owens is one of my followers.
Yeah, he's funny, very funny.
He follows me.
Yeah, you showed me.
He follows me, and so and he's likes one of my tweets, which is kind of cool. If for perspective, he's the current world champion.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, anyways, so
You
we
gonna
follow.
invite him over?
Huh? Maybe. I've been thinking about it. You know how me and Sarah have done TEDx things like that before, right?
Yeah.
I would love to have one of them somehow if they were this part of the world come and do it.
That'd be something.
A talk. So, outside of the social media, outside of those two instances, not so much, but I just try to keep up with what they do on the network.
Yep.
I guess. So that's been really good.
Okay, so now we're going to come back to everyone. So now we have a context upon the following of World Wrestling Entertainment on social media. Like, let's make this a bit more broader. So if you follow certain brands, sports teams, or even online stores on social media and the internet, like what aspects of the marketing of products through social media and the internet do you enjoy? And does it help you like to keep up with contemporary like things? So anyone start?
So what stuff do you like on social media that keeps us involved with
Yep, if you
all
bought,
the things that we like?
if you follow like certain brands, sports teams, or even online stores, like what elements like of it do you enjoy that maybe wasn't there beforehand? Can you compare that?
One of the things that I really love in social media is that daily updates, regular updates.
Yeah.
It's important for me. If I follow something, well, usually stores, I'm an online shopper. So, and I like it when they have updates, whether it's products or product related that inspires about the product. So, yeah.
Okay.
I just recently tried out this whole Twitter thing. But I would say the thing I think I enjoy the most is with whatchamacallit, short videos.
Yeah.
YouTube, Snapchat,
No, Twitter short videos.
No,
Vine?
Yeah, Vines.
Vine.
Just
They
because
took it
then-
down. They took it down.
Yeah, because then you just get, those are in GIFs and stuff that are embedded in the news feed. Just 'cause then, like, because I was only really referring to sports, because then I can see basketball highlights and it's just like small little stuff on the go, so it's cool seeing that. But I would say outside of that, I don't think I really on social media a lot with other things. I like to try to stay offline most of the time, but that would be, yeah, for sports and entertainment stuff, just having more clips embedded in, just faster to see stuff.
Miss Bridget?
I'm probably not, yeah, I think I'm more like Ian. I don't do a lot. I'll do Facebook once in a while and I see some short things on there, but shopping, if I do shopping, it's just quick and what I need, I look for something. Since I separated from my husband, I don't do sports anymore. I did that for enough years, had to cook for a bunch of guys over at the house all the time. And it's just not my forte anymore.
Okay, Miss Ross?
I'm like Mr. Ian, I look for short little snippets of things that give me the highlights of what I want to follow. So I'm an NHL fan and Boston Bruins are my team. So I look for anything like that. But generally, no,
Yeah.
not like I used to. But I find a lot of that is because of where I'm living. Like at home, TV was different. We had a broader range of channels. Like, I'm sure I would never leave the house here if there was hockey on. The happiest moment of my life was when I was in Singapore 2 years ago after I had my surgery